So today I want to be talking about what a 20 to 24 hour dry fast actually feels like. And I'm speaking from the standpoint of doing this on a day-to-day, every day, most days, literally most days. And, obviously my experience is going to be, completely different to many other people, especially those that have maybe never fasted or dry fasted before and are doing it for the first time. I'm also speaking from a standpoint in which I've done a lot of cleansing over time, 200-day juice fast, just juices only, no food. Mono fruit eating only, mono fruit juicing only for like 3 months. A 7-day dry fast, no food, no water for 7 days. A 3-day dry fast, no food or water for 3 days. And just my daily practice. And as well, within that, a lot of using a lot of tools to clean up on a deeper level, using clays, diatomaceous earth, which is another kind of clay, enemas, colonics, a lot of sort of herbal tinctures, capsules, powders, teas. I've done a lot of work. And this isn't something that I'm doing to be the cleanest person ever. This is something that is intuitive, something that I do because I feel good for doing it. And the deeper I seem to go, the more clear everything seems to be. So I'm coming from that standpoint, and I've been cleansing now for over 5 years. I started my juice fast, my first ever sort of fast, back in 2021. So since from then to now, I've really been diving deeper. So now my baseline, my current state is 20 to 24 hours of daily dry fasting. So this is what I'm going to be talking about. So what a day feels like with no food and no water, for me, feels very good. Not only do I feel super clear, not only do I feel super intuitive, focused, strong. I even work out in this state as well. I've done a lot of things in this state. I've done double marathons, but cycling. I've done a marathon running. I've done a lot of exercise. I've gone to the gym. I've been in the sauna. And this isn't something that I recommend anybody to do. But if you're someone that does do a lot of cleansing, then it may be something you may want to explore. When I then decide to consume, when I then break my fast, it's very intentional. I don't just rush to make a thing, to eat a thing. I don't just buy a thing to eat a thing immediately. Like, everything has changed. And because I've been doing it for such a long period of time now, I've forgotten, I guess, what it was like just to be impulsive with my food choices. I see a thing, I want a thing. I smell a thing, I want a thing. Like, I don't know, this is just a thing that the world experiences. Just being able to show up, just to show up for people, whether I'm meeting friends or family, I'm actually able to spend the time with them as opposed to having something in my hand or eating something while I'm with them. So it's kind of a distraction. So I'm actually able to show up in places more intentionally and more presently as well. I know from firsthand experience and for observation around me that parasites, people talk a lot about parasites, but they don't really know and don't really have an understanding of how they control everything, your whole realm and your whole reality. Just because parasites may be microscopic, maybe there's some that you eliminate and you're able to see them, you don't realize how conscious they are and how powerful they are. These are the reasons why they can control what you consume. So even though I think most people know what is good to consume and what is bad to consume, when they get that urge to consume something, they tend to go for the things that they know they shouldn't consume. And that's a telltale sign already, a telltale sign on whether you're being controlled or not by these lower frequencies. So if you're somebody that can't resist a thing, or you feel the call and you need to eat a particular thing, you have parasites. There's so many different parasites. They're very rangy, but if you can't override that, then you know that your whole system is being overpopulated by them. When you fast, this is like the most, this is the state in which you're able to kind of see them in action, full action, because you're starving them. You're not giving them any food and you're not giving them any water, no sugar, no nothing. And that die-off is why you feel so bad when you're fasting. That's why you have the headaches, the belly aches, all sorts of rangy symptoms. And it's different for everybody. So you're going to have a completely different experience. But over time, I think, people have been able to get a general sense of what feelings and sensations you may feel when you're in a fasted state. I'm probably not doing this topic any justice, because obviously I'm trying to compare what it was like before to what it was like now, and because it's been such a long time, I feel like I've forgotten a lot of what I was feeling like before, even though I've been a particular way for many, many years, and this has just been a short, small portion of my life. But I feel good, and as well, I must feel good when I wasn't pushed into this through my own health conditions or my own health problems. And actually, I can even go as far to say that even when I first knew about dry fasting, it was something that I wasn't really entertaining. It wasn't something that it wasn't really in my radar, because around that time I was still, I don't even know if I was raw. I think only when I was a raw plant-based eater was when when I was juice fasting, when I came in contact with the whole idea of dry fasting. And around that time, I was like, I really, really enjoy food so much, and I can't really see myself going a particular extended amount of time with not consuming anything at all. The deeper you dive within fasting, you soon realize that it doesn't become a physical thing anymore. Like for me, it was always about body image, and maybe many of you can relate to that. Maybe many of you can relate to, wanting to look a particular way, or maybe more look in a particular way over feeling a particular way. And for me, even on my early days of like just juicing, I realized that that shift was very fast. It didn't take long for the shift to go from, it's not about the physical appearance anymore. This is more of a spiritual journey, and I like how this feels. And it's not something you can really articulate, or I can't really articulate it well, to how it feels. I think you just have to experience it for what it is to really have an understanding of the feeling. And if you're someone that's carrying, extra weight, maybe you feel like life is good, like I don't need to do this thing. I hear it, I really hear it. And I was in that place before I started fasting. I was in a place of thinking, you know what, life is all right, life is cool. But you soon realize that the difference is day and night. Like, it's a completely different experience when you start to your vessel and you have this new experience of life. And I guess the reason why I do all these videos and the reason why I do these free dry fasting groups for beginners, that is designed for beginners, is because I want everybody to feel this feeling, and it's going to be different for everybody. And you'll soon see how it will change your life just by being intentional about cleaning yourself up. And whether you do, a dry fast or not, like, I think it's important to clean the system. We have cycles for a reason. The earth, goes through these different seasons for a reason. The plants are not always in growing and harvest mode. There are periods and times in which they bring the energy back within themselves. They shed the leaves, they shed the things that no longer serve them. And this is something that we do as often as we should do. And I know, back in the day, grandparents would, that they may have given you some sort of a cleanse. But I feel like this is something that we don't really practice as much as we should. So I guess I'm kind of shedding light on these things. And, times are different, times have changed now. But I think it's so important. And just by, interacting with people around me, I can see how they are ruled by temptations, and the parasites are really just taken over their system. And it's, I'm not going to say it's sad to see, but because I know better and I do better, I can see better. So I like to share what I can. And when I first came into even just being plant-based, being vegan, many years ago, I was very pushy with the information. I was very much like, you gotta do this, you really gotta do this, and what we're consuming is not good and it's bad, and this, that, and the other. But then I soon realized that actually that's not really being helpful. And me just being an example and showing up and being an example of what I'm living, that's more powerful, because people are interested. It's almost like everybody has this deep remembrance. That's why the curiosity comes. And that's why when I say certain things, it just makes sense. Just like, if you can acknowledge there's over millions of species on this earth, there's only one species that actually cooks their food, and that's just us. Nobody else cooks their food. Now you could say, but we're different to everything else and everybody else. Of course, because each species is different to one another, but they all have something in common. They all do not cook their food. And I guess that was just another element and aspect of why even going like on a raw plant-based, living a raw plant-based lifestyle just made so much sense to me. Because when you start to clean up, you start to have the right thought, you start to have the right mind, and it just makes sense. So if that does not make sense to you, then you have to question, like, why does that not make sense to you? And there may be something in you, that may feel triggered by even that statement alone, by, we are the only ones that cook our food, and if you get triggered by that, you gotta ask yourself, who's being triggered by that? Is it you, or is it the parasites? So yeah, interesting. But this is a journey, and wherever you are, wherever you're at, just know that you can make a change, and just know that whether you're in a dark place right now, there's always a light. There's always a light. There is always a light. And whether it's an interaction, whether it's something you've seen or something you've heard, that is the light. That is the light, your light that you need. That is to spark something within you that's ignited within you, and that is now put you on a trajectory of doing the right thing for you. So I don't know if I really explained what it feels like to do 20 to 24 hour dry fasting, but it feels good, it feels liberating, it feels freeing, because a lot of the money in which we spend is on food, and not even the right food. A lot of the money goes towards snacking. You know, we don't just have 3 meals a day, we have snacks in between. So when your body is constantly consuming and digesting, like you've expended like 70% of your energy by doing that. Now for me, if I was to consume something extra heavy, it makes me tired immediately, which tells me that this is like more of a burden than it is liberating and giving me energy. A lot of people may feel like they need to eat something when they are tired, but the food in which they're consuming is dead food. It's not giving them energy. It's just the feeling in which, like, you know, you're probably not even tired. It's probably the parasites that are running around in your system that's making you tired, that's making you feel tired. It's the die-off when you're not eating for a particular amount of time, because they're used to that constant stimulation, like that constant sugar, that sugar rush, and whatever it may be. You know, they're active, they're fully active, they're laying their eggs, they're doing what they're doing. And I'm talking from somebody that has seen parasites, that has a whole library of eliminations from my body, right? And I know that many of you may feel like, oh, that's not nice or disgusting, but it's the reality. If you're gonna consume something that you shouldn't really consume, then you have to pay the consequence of seeing that be eliminated. And the deeper you go, the smellier it gets, the more disgusting it looks. You know, you will be amazed at what you may find leaving your body. You can be the slimmest person in the world, you can be the biggest person in the world, it doesn't matter, because when you experience what I've experienced, and many other people have experienced, and you see what leaves your body, it's very hard to, I guess, go back to a particular way of being and living. So I'm going to leave it there. I probably came off a little bit off topic, but I've tried to remind myself of what this video is about. But that's just how my videos go. There's no editing involved. It's just a straight save, upload, and go. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Currently doing a 7-day dry fasting challenge with a community of there's over 66 people in this dry fasting group, and I do these dry fasting challenges every month. So if you wish to be a part of the next one, if you go to my website nystro.co.uk and you just read the information, click the link, it will take you to a WhatsApp message to me. I will get back to you, and yeah, I'm more than happy to welcome new people and share the message, share the insights, the downloads, all that good stuff. And you'll find all of that in the community. So have a wonderful day ahead, and I will catch you on the next video.